Hello, everyone. Hello. How are you? What is going? Hold on a sec. Just hold on. Hold on. Hello, and welcome to Monday. By the way, we're shutting this off. Shutting this. What is it? Okay. Ooh. Ooh. I like this. I like this better, but not all the way better. Hold up. Hold up. Hello. How are you? I used to make fun of people. I used to say, "Hey, do you got that beard for homeless reasons or religious reasons?" Because I never understood why anybody would grow a beard. This was when I was a smooth cheeked lad. And now, I mean, I want to see how weird it can get or how wild. Just, you got audio. You got audio. Don't even trip. How is everybody? Crazy times. My heart and uh thoughts go out to everybody in California. That is horrible. I know Patrick Bishop is somebody who watches. Peter Hunt, of course, Philip Fracassi. Bad situation out there. It's really kind of off the chain crazy, and I really do feel for everybody. I can't even imagine what that's like. We went through our little thing with the house where we were out of our house for 9 months. Wasn't nearly like losing everything you own. I can't even comprehend to watch a whole life go up in flames. So to everybody out there in California, if you may be watching, damn, I'm really it's weak to say that. It's really weak. But what do words do right now? Words don't do shit. Other than express my sincere wishes that everybody gets back to normal. So anyway, welcome to Monday. Good evening, Mark, number one, Mike, Brandon, Mitch, Phil, Jason, Tim, Zach, Russell. Good to see you, Russell, and Kevin. Russell, I want to say I saw you framed my piece of art. Wow, I was super honored that you did that, and that was. I hope it doesn't offend Rolled Oats too much that's up there, because Rolled Oats might be like, that looks nothing like me. He might be on his way here to bite me. And I know what an aggressive rabbit Rolled Oats is. So I hope you got his permission before you hung up his likeness. But again, wow, I was super flattered. So anyway, let's check in with the Magic Dove bucket, because I already feel it's been super dry. Everybody has been super dry. It's like this lighting is whack jack. Ugh. Well, what can you do? It's amateur hour. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. All right. So Magic Dove bucket, what do you have for me today? The White Russian served up in the glass that adds actual ABV. If you buy this glass on spring, it may or may not add ABV to your alcoholic beverages. If you do consume alcoholic beverages out of the glass, it may. I don't know. I got to get the results back from the lab, but it could add ABV. Oh, so anyway, that's a little gas in the tank. We got a lot to talk about, or some things to talk about. Good evening, Alan. Good to see you. Some stuff. I did finish Cardinal Black. I gotta say, I read it, and there, right at the end, Matthew Corbett shows up. Matthew Corbett becomes the hero I had wanted him to be for so very long. And Robert McCammon really does treat it as this moment, as this character arc moment, really kind of hammers it a little bit and emphasizes the point. But it does. And I only say that, again, not as a spoiler. I don't believe in spoilers, but if you are new to the Matthew Corbett series, there are 9 books and then a book of short stories. but there are 9 books, and Matthew Corbett is in all 9. So you're never worried about him not existing. And that's the problem. I really wish I had read the series as it was being published. That would have been awesome. Because you would have sat there and worried about Matthew Corbett. Is he going to survive this ride? Is it going to be who's going to get murdered? You're not guaranteed passage to the next book. But when you read it like when you're playing catch up and the series is already done, then it's like, yeah, you have a relative expectation to see Matthew Corbett through. But what I would have wanted to hear, what past Jeff wanted to hear from me is, yes, hang in there. Matthew Corbett does exhibit some agency. He does get involved in his own story. He does jump in and, get in the driver's seat and go to town. And hopefully that bodes well, because that was near the end of Cardinal Black when basically it had to happen. And so I think that sets up King of Shadows. I'm really looking forward to reading it. But in the meantime, I started reading this. I just read the prologue. Hey, Jason, good to see you, JJ. A lot of snow still in Kansas City. Still a lot going on. We went to Costco earlier in the week, and right before we had our 1 day of snow. 1 day of snow, and it was like melting the next day. It was like gone. So fine, the kids got a little refresher of Chicago, and it saw itself out. It's like, yes, you are not welcome here. Please leave. Yep, still covered in the white stuff. Yeah, it's going to stick around. And I was looking at Chicago weather today. Their high was 20. Our low was 27. And we actually went up to 48 today. So not gloating. I'm not, I feel bad for everybody who's stuck in that stuff and has to contend with traffic. But anyway, you don't have to contend with traffic. You could stay in, you could buy this thing. I never know which way in the thing. You can buy this. This is still available. Little Heaven. I just read the prologue. I mean, it's really pathetic to show you the bookmark. Can you even see the bookmark? Yeah, it's right there. Right at the beginning. I think I read 5 pages. But I've never, no, I don't want to say never, but this book really struck me when I got it. Maybe it's because I was just at the end of Cardinal Black, and I got this book in my hands. I'm like, I have got to read this. There's just something so compelling about this edition, the beauty of it, the readability of it. And Martin, I don't know if Martin, you're around, if you're watching, if you're stalking, but this paper isn't as bright white as the normal Earthling paper. I'm going to do a little comparison because let's see. Let's go to Boys in the Valley. Let's just go and get that one out and compare. I don't know. The Boys in the Valley paper is colder. It looks brighter. It doesn't really show up on this. But Martin Garcia was talking about how he doesn't care for the bright white. And it's not going to come through on this. This isn't really going to be a great comparison. If I could do a better photo, but this definitely is warmer than Boys in the Valley. This comparison was like the worst comparison ever. I understand that. I get it. But it doesn't, it's not, I understand what you're saying, Martin. I don't agree. I mean, I have no problem reading off that bright white paper. But if it is challenging to you, I get it. And you don't want it. So I don't think this is the same sort of coldness. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That snow made work insane. Atlanta airport was chaos. I can imagine. I mean, that it hit everywhere. I mean, we had California burning and everywhere else freezing. I'll say this: I'd rather deal with snow than fires. Yeah, amen, amen to that, Jason. Yeah, totally. I 100%. Well, you already read the prologue. You're going a lot faster. It was this morning. I had like 20 minutes. I made coffee and I sat down. I had 20 minutes undisturbed and I read the prologue. And then I got on my computer, I fired it all up and I got ready for work. But if you want to see, like you're saying, oh my God, you're reading that exquisitely beautiful modern classics edition. How do you guarantee it's going to stay in pristine shape? You know, you're eating Cheetos, Doritos, burritos, I don't know, and then you're thumbing through it and you're just like, ah. But when you put it down, then what? Well, I got this for Christmas. This is the dude's rug. And it is supposed to be a mouse pad, but it is a disaster as a mouse pad. But what it is amazing at is a book rest. So I have this down in pristine shape, and boom, the book goes on it, protected from any other surface. Also, it's very location specific. So when I'm done, I put it down and I know where my book is. It always goes to the same spot. It's not going to be left out so Poe can start chewing on it when he's bored. It's not going to be accessible. This is an awesome thing. And I told producer Jill, I'm like, it doesn't work as a mouse pad. And she goes, okay, well, I'll send it back. I said, the FUR, well, that's staying right where it is. Book rest ties the whole desk together and this book. So, oh, it's a great reading experience. When you have that in your corner. Hello, Kevin. Good to see you. Christopher Bowers. Good to see you as well. Lance from Illinois, which is Illinois with, Illinoisian. He's an Illinoisian. That's better. I'll go Fulbright. Solitary. Loved it. Yes. Solitary. I thought of doing a article in the newspaper on calling it commentary. And then, when I pass away, I'll be cemetery. I had a cousin in the Navy military. He actually wasn't a Terry. Anyway, buy 2 copies, one to read, one to display. That's usually the answer. That's usually having a reading copy. That's how, there are collectors, there are readers, and then there are flippers. We don't really like the flippers. We don't care about them. We're not going to hate on them because why do that? But readers and collectors, there's a little bit of overlap. And when you're both, you should be both to some extent, because otherwise, why are you collecting them? But there is that dilemma. I think we should make a dust jacket, a temporary dust jacket that you could put on every different books. If you're reading these fine limited editions, maybe it's silicone, little magnet enclosure. You wrap it around the book, and it's a temporary thing. It protects the book, doesn't scratch it up, and there you have it. And then you just undo the magnetic clasps, and you put it on the next book. If you read your fine limited editions, as I think you should. I'm preachy, I realize. Jeff, what's up, Pizza Giraffe? The Jeff of the Word. Sounds like a church. I am the Jeff of the Word. I'm the Word of the Jeff. Peace be with you. Piece of pizza. First Church of What the Christ. I bought a Little Heaven based on your video. That is seriously nice. Thanks. Thank you for letting me know that. And now I feel responsible for your reading experience. It is gorgeous. So I think you're going to be happier than even just watching the video because I saw the pictures and I saw a lot of material about Little Heaven, but you really can't appreciate it until you hold it. But even better than that, or in addition, is like a cherry on top of that. Come with me next week, next Monday. Come with me, Modern Classics. So we have Inspection, which I have on my shelf. That's again the best Mallerman limited edition I own. It's among one of the best limited editions I own, period. And now Little Heaven, which is cool. It starts out wild. It's pretty wild. My first Nick Cutter. So I'm going in all in, this is like the luxury experience for Nick Cutter. So fingers crossed. Philip Fracassi loves Nick Cutter. Paul Miller introduces me to all kinds of great authors. It's sort of a formula for success. I think it's going to happen. I think we have another author that I am now going to be needing to read. And I just added Malfi to the roster, which is okay because Malfi's next. Come with me next Monday. Less than 100 copies available is what Paul Miller told us in the newsletter because he's going off of those who bought the bundle. So 135 people bought the bundle, maybe 136 if there's less than 100. I don't know, but of the bundles and maybe of the people who bought just Little Heaven. Although if you had plans on getting both books, I don't know why you would have just I'm just going to buy Little Heaven now and then buy Come With Me later. You'd want to save the $50. Which that's like a dozen eggs. So you get a dozen eggs. So yes. And then I was wondering, like, who else do you want to see as a modern classic author in that line? Who else? You have Mallerman, Cutter, Malfi. Who else? How many are we going to go? I think their other classics line, their very first classics, was China Melville, Dan Simmons, Glenn Hirschberg, and Christopher Golden. Those were the only 4 titles in the Modern Classics 1.0. So, who do you want to see? I know I would love to see Philip Fracassi, but the only one that would, the only title that would be available that's currently published or in the works would be Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre, because every other Fracassi novel has been done. Am I missing? I mean, no. I did this in the video when I showed Little Heaven, and I talked about the Fracassi titles. Levidian did Child Alone. Earthling did Boys in the Valley, Serafina, and Gothic. And I thought that might rule out Philip Fracassi, because if Earthling already did, if Paul already did 3 Fracassi titles, then why would he do the Modern Classics? But he did Goblin and Ghoul in the Cape from Josh Mallerman, and then he did Inspection. Was there another? Was there a third? Oh, he did On This the Day of the Pig, the lettered edition. Yeah, he did that. The only pig I don't have. But 750. Don't you need a third copy to bring to the beach? Yes. Yes, I do. I often do. I think next time I get a Earthling Arc, I'm not just gonna bring it to the beach. I'm gonna take it in a kayak ride. How about that? We're gonna have a kayak edition of an Earthling Arc if I ever get one again. I'm not nothing's guaranteed, nothing's promised. I don't have a contract signed with Paul Miller to send me arcs on demand. He may not send me another arc, and I'm eternally grateful for the Earthling arcs I do have. And so I take nothing for granted. I appreciate everything. I appreciate every bit of generosity. And if I do get an Earthling arc, I'm going to take it kayaking. I'm going to live stream that shit. I'm going to read on a kayak. It's going to be a new thing. I'm going to put Zach's books underwater. Finally, it's going to be Jeff on a kayak. Can we combine Maniac and kayak? Maniac. It's the word. And then I'm going to be on there with the book live. I'm going to have I'm going to figure it out. Kayaking and reading. Come read with me as I kayak on Tennessee's waters. Don't think I won't. William's here. Good to see you, William. Glad to see you. Did you get a copy of The Slave Race by Philip K. Dick? I saw you were looking for that. I snooped and I saw that. Let me know. I can't do reader copies. I don't go to a steakhouse and ask for 2 steaks so I can look at one. He's put that. I don't do reader copies. I'm in it. If I'm going to get that filet, I'm not going to sit and stare at the filet while I eat my hamburger. Nope. I ain't going to eat meatloaf and just look at the presentation that chef. No, I'm going to get my hands on the book. I know. Me too. And I'm telling you, this drew me in. I'm like, ooh, I'm up for a book. And I promise you guys, I'm going to put the poll up on the Patreon to pick the next book club title. It's going to be one selection. It's going to be Kin. That's it. But you'll get to vote. It'll be like an election in Iraq when Saddam Hussein was the guy. It'll be like that. I'm good, William. I'm glad to see you here. Good evening. That's why I have my Kindle and you have it signed, which I think is really cool. But then I wouldn't bring that Kindle anywhere. I would just have that one signed because I wouldn't want to smudge. Do you like put a varnish over it so you don't smudge the signature? I don't even know how that works. Here I got water and a White Russian, and I'm like, do I need which one? I'm a little dry. He needs to do A Child Alone. Levidian did A Child Alone, and I don't think that Paul would do that. I don't think he would. So maybe, but I don't think. I mean, I would buy it in a heartbeat. I mean, I would totally want that. Whatever, if Fricassi's in it. But who else would you want in a modern classics line? I mean, Philip Fracassi, of course, Chad Lutsky, Keelan Patrick Burke, would be awesome. Who else? Tyler Jones, of course. Robert McCammon. I would love to see a Robert McCammon. I don't know. Who would you think? How about a Joe Lansdale? That would be cool. See, the thing about Joe, though, he's got so many books, so many special limited editions stretched out everywhere. And it's so hard to keep up. But I think it would be cool because the Thicket, Earthlings edition of the Thicket, is tied with SST's edition of Paradise Sky, and Centipede Press's edition of the Drive-In as my ultimate favorite Joe Lansdale books. That is such a cop-out. But as I was thinking about it, I'm like, it's really hard for me to pick which one. Again, he's spread out everywhere. SST, of course, is doing a bang-up job on Lansdale stuff. Slave Race, Zach Wood has me sorted. Thank you for asking. Okay. I'm glad he has you sorted. Good. Having my Kindle sign is an idea I got from Mitch, but Mitch is like 3. He thinks he can bring the sun down from the sky. Like, he thinks he can burn his hand on the sun. I don't know what Mitch thinks. Oh, and Mitch, it's not true, Mitch, or somebody accused me of not liking football. I think Stephen Dwayne Allison Jr. did. And it's not true. I love football. I love watching football. I just need a reason to. I need to get motivated. I was a Bears fan, and then I'm like, these guys suck. Then I moved to Tennessee. I'm like, well, now I'm a Tennessee Titans fan because that's my home team, and they are awful. So it's just disheartening. I'm rooting for the Lions, 1,000% rooting for the Lions. You automatically, when you move away, when you drop the Bears as your team, and it's not like it's total mismanagement. That front office is a bunch of jagoffs. They're idiots, and they always make the worst decisions, and then double down, triple down, quadruple down, quintuple down. They don't ever back away from their bad. It'll work its way through. It never does. It never, ever does. So I'm rooting for the Lions. But once you leave Chicago and drop them, then you start rooting for all the rivals, the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions. And from what I understand, Mitch, even though I didn't watch it, but it's not because I hate it, did the Steelers lose? Are the Steelers out? Is it okay? How is Steeler Nation? My brother-in-law is a Steelers fan, and I know he carved out time to watch the playoff game, and I think he got hurt. I don't know. But at least he got to a playoff game. At least you made it that far, Mitch. All I know is what you wrote, that you hate football. So I assume it's because your boys were sent packing. For modern classics, Paul could do Egotist or Don't Let Them Get You Down, or an omnibus. Is it a dual bus? If only $2. Dual bus. That is interesting. I think it falls outside. To me, Don't Let Them Get You Down, an Egotist, and that I got to read the Egotist. I never read the Egotist. Holy shit. Absolutely loved. I mean, Don't Let Them Get You Down is one of my absolute favorite books of all time. And it's sort of like, it's literary. It's not what Paul Miller does. But yeah, I'd buy that in a heartbeat too. I would love it. Zagava did a great job. Paul, I think, between us, I think Paul would do a better job. Let me just say it. I just think so. Earthling, I feel at home with an Earthling book. I feel like, yes, this is what I want. Zagava, I only have those 2 Zagavas. They're nice. They're really nice. I like them. Blake Crouch. There you go. That's a good modern classics. Blake Crouch. I like what you're thinking, Mike. He is the master brew dude. Chismar or Little. Way to troll. Mark, you win the troll award. I wish I had a troll award to give you. But these words have got to serve as the troll award. You win tonight. Anya Allborn, that's a good one as well. Jason, that's a good one. Within These Walls is a is Anya Allborn's favorite book of hers. She just came out with another one or teased it, Unseen. She's a great person. She's a great author. And I think I would love to see that. Paul previously did Dark Across the Bay, of course. I think he did a kick-ass job on the lettered edition for that one. But Anya Allborn, that's a good call. I think that would be awesome. Sounds like you should be a Seahawks fan. We could commiserate together. How could every team be so awful? Steelers Nation is in shambles. No, Mitch. No. No, reinforce that steal. 8 years, 6 appearances of getting bounced in the first round. Unacceptable. Be a Bears fan for one season, Mitch. One season. You will hug whatever head coach the Steelers have there. Who's their current head coach? I know. I'm picturing him, but I can't name him. I couldn't name him, but I'm picturing him. I think my brother-in-law wanted him to go. I don't know how you feel, Mitch. Try being a Giants fan. It's painful everywhere. It's awful everywhere. You know, you have dynasties like the Patriots, which I understand is now no longer there, no longer a dynasty. And then you have like someone like Peyton Manning. Be a Colts fan. If you were a Colts fan during the Peyton Manning era, you would have felt the same pain all the way through the playoffs every single goddamn time, and then bounced in the first round every single time. Peyton Manning just couldn't get it done. And that's why Jim Irsay or whoever bounced him or was like, we're going to get rid of him. No loyalty. Maybe get Peyton Manning what he needs to make it through the playoffs. I don't know. I agree with Earthling books. Most are instant buys. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Troll. Packers fan here, and you know it was going to be bad when they lost the last regular season's game to the Bears. Yeah. No, that's not cool. Yeah, I it's like, you know, the funny thing is like you're a fan of a team and you root for the team and you want that team to do well, but you never consider yourself an enemy of a team. Well, I'm an enemy of the Bears. I'll say it. I'm an enemy of the Bears. They're my sworn enemies. I'm getting into the Fire Tomlin territory. Mike Tomlin. Yep. Yeah, a lot of people were there before you, but I thought he was a great head coach. And you know, I guess again, when you're comparing, and where's Stephen Dwayne Allison Jr., by the way? Did he call in sick? He's supposed to be here. We're talking football. And he does not like football, but he told me I didn't like football. And I'm talking football, and he's not here. Yeah, my Pats are done. Oh, you're a Pats. I was gonna say, what's a West Virginia team? Like, who do you root for? And why aren't there 50 teams? There should be one for every state. The Alaska Kodiaks. You know what? The Alaska Kodiaks. And then, yeah, I mean, they go by the cities. But the Tennessee Titans, the Chicago Bears, you know, I don't know, Cincinnati Bengals. Why not Ohio Bengals? Let's go to the states, and then let's have that actually decide. You get an extra senator if your team won the Super Bowl and played into politics. You know, let's weave it into the fabric of the country. Screw the Constitution. Who cares? Right? Don't matter anyway, right? Rules for thee, not for me. All that. I better settle. I better stop. I'm about done with NFL. Bring on the WNBA. Ready for some basketball. Yeah, there should be a WNFL. Why isn't there? We have women's soccer, women's basketball. We don't have um, women's baseball. I don't know. I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting into that discussion either. There's so many things that scorched earth that you don't want to talk about, so we won't. What's up, hardcover fanatic? Good to see you. And I swear to God, I'm going to reply to you. I mean, it's kind of a running joke. In fact, if I reply to you now on Facebook, it's going to be kind of a letdown. It's going to be like, oh, it should be like a 20-year running joke. Like I'll be 70 saying, I'll respond to you. We know I ain't going to make it to 70. But if I did, and if this channel went to 70, went to 20 years, 2044. I never paid attention to sports, just books. I used to be like that. And then my brother-in-law said, hey, can you help out on his fantasy football league? And we just need one more player. Just draft. And then it was a live draft. I was in the room with these guys. I knew nothing about football. I had a magazine that told me who to pick. And that was old school. And I was hooked ever since because then I had to watch it. I'm like, well, I might as well watch a game. And I had Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. And I was like, damn. And I was a Colts fan. And then I used to watch it all the time. Tomlin is a man who knows he will never get fired by the Rooneys and will drag the Steelers down with him. Damn. We need a live draft for the next season, Jeff. Okay, we'll do a live draft. I could stream it, and as I draft, you can see my face in the little corner, and we pick, and then we chat. That would be fun. Maybe I'll do a Zoom. I don't know. But yeah, I had 8 teams this year. I think next year we'll try to have 10. Maybe we'll have 12. But at 12, your talent gets real thin. You have a very competitive league. But if you drafted like shit, or if you don't make the moves during the season to stay up on top of the best talent, you will get scorched. The draft counts for a little bit. It helps you lock in the best. But you really make your team over the season. Then you're going to have to draft. You're going to have to pick up players throughout the season. And if the talent is spread so thin and you have actual good managers of those other teams who are actually looking for the best talent every week, it's going to get harder and harder to pick somebody up. So 10 or 12 teams is the limit. 8 teams was stupid. 8 teams is like everybody's got at least 2 or 3 studs. 2. And if those players stay healthy, it's just going to be high scores on all the teams. Although Philip Fracassi chose fandom over, if you you have to decide. If you're a fantasy football manager, you have to make the decision between being a fantasy football manager or being a fan. So Philip chose being a fan of the Detroit Lions and drafting like all Lions. Now, sometimes it works to your favor, in your favor, but a lot of times that is not going to be a good move. So that's, that also. I didn't realize today was Monday. I saw the hearts jamming up, going up the screen, putting the hearts are going up. And I'm like, Jesse's here. He's here. He's in the building. He's in the space. Jamming that button. I could make a crude joke, but I'm just going to take a sip of my White Russian. Yeah, 12 teams are brutal. Really have to make moves almost daily to keep up. It is really hard. But I'm in a league where my nephew's league had like 16 teams. He had 2 divisions of 8 teams. And you played your division, then you played the other division, and you had 2 separate win-loss records. It was like, what is this? Calculus? Like I'm just a guy, I'm just a guy with a computer. I came in 4th in that league overall. And I Steelered in the playoffs. I kicked everybody's ass, and at the first round of the playoffs, I got smoked, just like some bitch ass yellow and black team. The Pits. But hey, at least the Steelers make it to the playoffs, unlike the Bears. Piles of shit. Oh man. I mean, at some point, these teams have a responsibility to their fans. You guys make millions of dollars, and you owe us. Like, that's why I love there's a running back. He used to be on the Bears, but now he's on the Lions. David Montgomery. That guy is to the bone a class act workhorse. That guy, he has the right attitude, the right mindset, the right work ethic. That guy he deserves any accolades he gets because he earns them. And I draft him. He was on my fantasy team this year and he kicked ass. But even if he didn't, that guy, I have tremendous respect for David Montgomery. He appreciates where he is, and he's grateful for it, and he earns it, and he doesn't seem to slow down. Really great guy. It was funny when Philip took Jameson Williams over an Amon-Ra. Yeah, loyalty. He's like, I'm a Lions. There's a Lion. Is it my turn to pick? Boom. And then when the bye week comes around and half his team or, most of his team is gone because they're all Lions. Although I had David Montgomery. And I queued him up in my draft right away. Like, he's somebody I always look for. So I kind of stole him from Philip. Do I feel bad about it? No, I don't. Not at all. It's fantasy football. There are no friends. There are no friends in fantasy football. And no fans. No friends, no fans. You got to leave them at the door. Do you want to win? Do you want the glory of winning a free league with no prizes attached? Then you got to step on some people. Is anyone here planning on going to AuthorCon in 5 in March? Fracassi is going to be there as a guest of honor. And where is that? Is that in your state? You're going to be there in March? March is a terrifically bad month for me to make any sort of moves anywhere. Like, every child in my universe, it's an exaggeration. There are a lot of March birthdays in my orbit, like in my realm, in my domain. March, my feet are nailed to the floor for sure. But I would love to go. No, it's in Virginia. Okay. How many hours away? What Virginia? AuthorCon 5. AuthorCon B. I still have not heard back from my venue. I called them on Monday for the Jeff Con venue. A lot is hanging on this. I got to say, I started getting so pumped about this space and getting this venue that I'm sort of in a hold breath moment. I don't even want to consider plan Bs. But October 25th, 2025, I want to be in this space so bad. But I called them. Before the holidays, I filled out the application. And then, so I don't remember when I filled out the application. I sent it in. And then right before the break, I called and they're like, oh, well, we won't get to anything until the new year. I'm like, okay, January 1st. Yeah. And we're not getting to anything till we're back in the office in the new year. I'm like, cool. I'll call you then. I don't want to piss people off that are holding my application. And really, it's kind of a tense moment. So I called. I'm like, it was January It wasn't the first week of January. I'm like, I'm not even calling until the next Monday in January. Like, we're gonna, and then it wasn't even then. It was that Tuesday. So no, it was when did I call? Today's Monday. So I called last Tuesday and I said, so I applied to get this space. Have you guys made a decision? What's up? And they're like, nope, but we'll call you as soon as we do. And they left it at that. Oh, okay. Well, do you know when that'll be? And then I know I'm starting to piss them off, so I backed off. But she was like, "Well, we think around the end of the month." I'm like, "Okay, thank you." Like I'm like, all right, end of the month. So end of January, I'm going to call back, and we'll see. Maybe we'll get some Poe good luck because Poe was born February. We're going to say he was born February 2nd, just to make it easy. And so maybe we'll get a little bit of that Poe magic, Poe good luck. My dog's name is Poe, not Eddie Allen, but my dog. Maybe we'll get a little bit of that Poe magic. We took him in, we adopted him, we're raising him, we're taking care of him. Maybe a little bit of the universe, mojo will kind of like sprinkle us, so like fairy dust. Got the ick pretty bad. Greetings and salutations, Stephen Wayne Nelson Jr. Got the ick pretty bad right now. I am sorry to hear that. I'm sorry. I was wondering where you were. You didn't call in sick, but you showed up sick. So I want to commend you for that. I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry you're feeling bad. It's that time of year, the bug goes around. They said there's a lot of respiratory illnesses right now. I want to try to get AuthorCon, but I might be helping my son move to Baltimore that week or week before. Jason, if you will. If you're in Baltimore, stop by the Cemetery Dance office and go, DFAQ. FAQ. I just don't want to, like Russell's here. I'm not going to say, I don't want to drop F-bombs. The FAQ, man. What's up? I see that they're finally sending out the Cemetery Dance magazine. The one where Stephen King signed 50 of them. And then instead of giving random subscribers a King signature for like, thank you so much for hanging on. Thank you for being a loyal customer. And, sorry for these delays. You get a chance to get a King signature with your magazine. Nope. Dick Chiz used those signatures to promote memorials, which I want to go to Goodreads and look at his. I always like checking in on Dick Chiz books to see where they stand in the Goodreads ratings, because those are the readers. Early on, you get a lot of sycophants who like to pump up the star rating, but then the real readers show up and they're like, what was all this hype about? This guy sucks. So do that. I think Philip auto-drafted most of his team, didn't he? He probably preloaded. Yeah. The Bears have turned into the Lions of the past. Yes. Weren't the Lions the only team that had no wins in one season? Like, aren't they the only team? I didn't draft any Steeler players. That's why I won the league. Oh, damn, Mitch. You're like a woman scorned. No, Mitch, you won the league because the week before I lost 3 players during their games. See, that's the thing. You could score, you could draft the talent, but that talent has to stay healthy all season. Hoping the best for a speedy recovery, Stephen Wilson Jr. I reiterate and reinforce what Kevin wishes for you. Williamsburg, Virginia is 7 hours away from me, so probably 10 for you, Jeff. Well, whenever I look at Google Maps and it tells me the time it takes to get to a place, I'm like, I look at that and I go, challenge accepted. 10 hours. I'm going to make it there in Mike Hughes time. I'll get that 10 down to 7. How about Jeff Kahn at the retirement home at the end of the street? That's a funny idea, Kevin. That is a funny idea. I can go over to that retirement home, that assisted living facility, it's more like a rehab home, like adult daycare. Like they got some younger people in there who like this one guy was in a motorcycle accident. I think JJ was, and he's on the road to recovery, physical. They go to physical therapy, but this is where they live and they get around the clock care. So, not exactly a retirement home, but close enough. Although, well, yeah, no, that would be perfect because if Philip shows up, and he said he would, he'll be celebrating Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre, which is an awesome book. I think I told you this. I don't know if I told you this, but in my opinion, Third Rule of Time Travel is like the Blake Crouch killer. It's like Blake Crouch. It's like a Blake Crouch book done perfectly. So, you got Dark Matter, you got the Pines trilogy, you got Blake Crouch is brilliant, and he writes incredibly addictive, compelling thrillers, techno thrillers. I love everything I've read by Blake Crouch, but his characters are sort of cardboard cutouts. They're stand-ins, they're archetypes, and Philip wrote Third Rule of Time Travel, which feels like it's a Blake Crouch techno thriller, sci-fi fantasy, or not fantasy, but sci-fi influence, sci-fi heavy, but in the vein of Blake Crouch, but just crushes it. It's like one of the best books I've read is Third Rule of Time Travel. It's just amazing. I love it, love it, love it. Well, I think Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre is the Grady Hendrix killer. So like Grady Hendrix, I only read the one book by Grady, and it was only an audiobook with an actor, a voice actor who could not do male parts. So I think that did diminish my love or my enjoyment of the book. But I listened to Southern Book Club Guide to Slaying Vampires, and Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre is like a Grady Hendrix book done perfectly. I love that book, and he revised it since I read it, and I think his revisions work. I have not read them, but I'd love to. And from what he said he was going to do, I think it's going to be fantastic. So he's going to be here getting he's going to be promoting that book, and that's going to be top of mind. It's going to be a new release. It's coming out in that September. Hopefully all the people have bought it and read it, and I'll make it a book club thing. And he'll want to talk about that. He'll want to be promoting that book. And if we had a retirement home, that would be awesome. A little, maybe a little crowded. Maybe we have somebody pretend to be Rose Dubois, and someone pretend to be the killer who I'm not going to tell you who it is. It's a whodunit, Man, it's a great book. Great book. Great. Seriously, everything Fracassi writes is fantastic. Did we already cover the Gaiman article? No, we did not. No. But I'm sure it's coming. Okay, if you guys want to talk about it, I can. But I don't have an attorney present. Yes, the Lions went 0-16. Lifelong fan. It's our time. Yes, it is. I hope you guys get it, Michael. You and Philip and everybody who's a lifelong fan. Everyone now rooting for the Eagles? No, Jake. We're Lions. We're rooting for the Lions. Jake, that was a rough game for injuries. Vulture dropped the article about it today. Tons of receipts. Yes. I wouldn't root for the Eagles against anyone. See, it's a rivalry. There's bad blood. See, this is what happens. Honestly, I could have swore that Chiz gave me that magazine, gave those magazines away as part of his promotional stuff for the Boogerman sequel. Am I wrong? No. I thought it was memorials, but you could be becoming the Boogeyman. Maybe. He definitely did not give them to the loyal subscribers who have been with him for all these years, because why would he be an upstanding person? He's a dick. The Lions are the only original NFL team that haven't made the Super Bowl yet. Really? I did not know that. I did not know that. My buddy Brian should handle this portion. If we talk football, he should handle this portion of the discussion. The guy's got he can't remember anything he did yesterday, but he remembers who took a snap in game 5 against the Vikings, like in 2014. Third Rule reminded me more of Contact than Blake Crouch. Interesting. I never read Contact, or I saw the movie. I saw the movie, right? Was that Jodie Foster? Or no, that was Amy Adams, right? Contact. That I liked. I think Jodie Foster was First Contact. I thought that was cool. Now Fracassi is on an entirely different level than young author, young audience, young adult Grady. Yeah. No, he is totally. Retirement home residents would be like, this is the most effed up game of bingo if we had Jeff Kahn there. Maybe we will, because where I plan to have it isn't far from that retirement home. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a drive, but maybe we'll just crash. Mitch, is retirement home brew in the works? A sour stout? Wow, that'd be cool. Oh yeah, Chiz gonna chiz. Kevin, what the hell is this sour stout? Ew. I think the Chiz gave 1 or 2 away on social media. The Chiz. First Contact is a Star Trek The Next Generation film. Foster was in Contact. Okay. Then what was the Amy Adams one? Am I Mandela effect? Am I parallel universing this conversation? I don't know. But I didn't want to talk about Gaiman really, because that he's a nasty, vile person. And a lot of that stuff, I think the worst part about it, the worst part about all of it is the duplicity, the two-faced nature of Neil Gaiman, right? On one hand, he comes out as this feminist, but on the other, he doesn't care what women want at all in his most personal relationships. And he profits from that image. Yes, he's not going to want the world to know that he's a barbarian. He's not going to want that image. But to go full white knight crusader vibe, and sell yourself as this champion of women is probably the most harmful, hurtful thing any man could do if you're living life like that. I'm not getting into all of the gritty, horrible details. I think that Vulture article is out there. I didn't share it to any of the platforms. You could read it. You could see how things played out. I think it was a great article because it really got in depth into all of the players involved in this horrid tale. And it's shocking. It is very shocking when you read it and you understand that you can't possibly understand what is going through some people's minds who go through this sort of stuff. For example, it comes out that Neil Gaiman's parents were Scientologists. They were among the very first in the Church of Scientology in England at the time, and they became very high-ranking church elders. They lived down the street from L. Ron Hubbard, and their practices were pretty barbaric to Neil when he was a 5-year-old boy. And that trauma creates trauma, that creates trauma, that creates, it's sort of then this becomes this effect that reverberates throughout life. I've always said the most successful people, and this is a gross miscarriage. Like, this is just Jeff being Jeff. Okay. So please just don't put too much into what I'm about to say. But I always said the most successful people are running from demons. Like, they seem to achieve a tremendous amount of success based on demons that are either internal or external. And eventually those external demons become internal. And not everybody who has demons actually succeeds, of course, but the people I see that are like Oprah Winfrey's life was horrible when she was a child. And I think a lot of these people they channel all that rage, all that pain, all that stuff into some sort of creative endeavor, and it gives them just this fuel that um I don't envy. I bet you if they could trade it off and say, I would rather live as an anonymous moron like Jeff Word, um, instead of having all that pain from my childhood, I would do it in a heartbeat. And I don't blame them. I mean, I can't imagine. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, it talks about one of his victims in the same way, talking about her life. It's really uh, really a shocking article, and I've never been a Neil Gaiman fan, but I can imagine if you were a fan and you read that article, how betrayed you would feel. You have this idea of somebody, and then the reality of that person, and you're like, that's not who I want to support. So I don't feel it at that level. I'm probably never going to read a Neil Gaiman book. I hated Neverwhere, so dumped that book. It was a total DNF. And, it's awful. I think it's awful when you peel back this wonderful golden veneer and you see a writhing pile of maggots. It cuts your faith in humanity. Like, I'll never forget, like, Bill Cosby. I didn't believe it at first, and then wow, and it's like, wow, well, who do you look up to? Who do you believe in? You know, there are mistakes people make. There are lapses in judgment, but when you have patterns of behavior that are truly barbaric, what's the answer to that? Like, what do you? I can't see Neil Gaiman having the same career now after that article has been published. Because, court of law is one thing. His lawyer, if he's got a lawyer worth anything, could point to text messages he received after the fact that support Neil Gaiman's case. But I think there's a difference between law and civility and humanity and compassion. And I think he cannot win in that regard. I mean, there's no way he can escape the public's wrath. So read it if you want. It's stomach churning. It's really awful. And everybody in that article is a tortured human being. I'm glad I can't understand it at the instinctual level, but anyway. Scientology never ends well. Cough, cough, Gaiman. Yeah. Amy Adams was in Arrival. Arrival. Thank you. I love that movie. I thought that movie was awesome. That beer will probably feature prunes or something. Got to get to the drawing board. That's cool, Mitch. I like what you're thinking. This is why I only look up to one person, the Jeff. No, Mitch. No, 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 no. I was an altar boy who stole donuts. Mitch. I hope that's not too earth shattering for you. I did some bad things. I stole donuts on my way to serve mass. Forrest Whitaker in that. I think so. Jeff, the podcast Psychopedia touches on this topic you're on about how childhood events trauma lead them to do some pretty unbelievable stuff as adults. Yeah, I mean, the problem is that the people can achieve incredible success. Stephen King was raised in a one-parent household, and he doesn't really talk about his childhood. I have always wondered what happened during Stephen King's childhood. Like, what happened? Did something happen? Because like you have fuel for a lifetime. You have material that you just like you do not give an F anymore. And I think you're free from those constraints. I think you're in some ways liberated from feeling like you have to give a shit about humanity anymore because you are so traumatized, and you just put that pedal to the floor. And then when you look up, finally, you've arrived at a place, and it might not look anything like where you came from. And I don't know, that's just sort of the character arc I see. And it doesn't mean it's true or even anywhere near factual, but I've always wondered. But the downside, they said, I've seen reports on this too, is that people who are victims of abuse often become abusers. And it sounds like that's what happened with Neil Gaiman. And it's not an excuse. It's not a justification. I think once you're past a certain age, everything you do is your responsibility. You own it, and you have to own it. But yeah, that's, if you read enough true crime serial killer books, you see these things that are, you start to look at everybody like you're just one program away. And it's mostly during the impressionable years, the formative years, the programming people receive in those years reaps a lifetime of agony. I buried all my childhood trauma and choose to be a failure. Follow me for more tips. You and me both. We're high-fiving right now. We're high-fiving right there. Wasn't Scientology founded because of a bet that L. Ron Hubbard had with Robert Heinlein that he could create his own religion? I heard that as well. I don't know how true that is. You have to look at Snopes. Go to Snopes for all your fact-checking needs. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any offhand. Yeah, Snopes is biased as well. I know. Trust no human being. I should be wearing my Tupac shirt that says trust nobody. Instead, I got Smiley Joe. Cookie from the Bozo Show showed me the truth about people at a young age when he OD'd. Oh, that's a great story in one little. Stephen Dwayne Allison Jr., that should be a flash fiction piece. Cookie from the Bozo Show showed me the truth about people at a young age when he OD'd. That's right there. We need to save that somehow. What am I doing? I'm pinning that. Can I pin it? Pin message. Boom. You're pinned, Stephen Dwayne Allison Jr. That is pinned to the top. Lest anybody forget. I didn't know Cookie OD'd. Honestly, Cookie. I remember Wizzo. I remember Bozo. Wizzo was the wizard, right? That's when it started getting dark, right? Getting into dark magic here with Wizzo. He seemed like Bozo seemed like, a guy in grease paint. Wizzo seemed like a guy with, like, he was on his last second chance. He was like on his fifth second chance. And if he didn't do good on the Bozo show, I don't know, Wizzo. Sometimes you don't want to know what the person behind the curtain is really like. Yep. You stole donuts? Wow, I'm about to write an expose about you now. Yeah. Yep. I stole donuts. Right off the rack. Boom. This? Yeah, I'm gonna go serve mass now. And then I got up there and I was angelic. And I rang those bells. I rang the bells. I rang the bells like I was choking a hobo. Hobo is a funny word. So it feels like I'm not really extolling violence. Choke a hobo. Not to death. No, just for a little bit. Like tickle him. Tickle a hobo on the neck. I wouldn't hold out hope for Sandman 2 or Good Omens 3 anytime soon. No, he's toast. He's done. He is done. I don't know where he could get away with behavior like that nowadays. But definitely not as an author. No way. He's done. He talks quite a bit about his childhood and on writing. Yeah, he talks about it the most there. But there are still things that are like, I don't know. Things that make you go, At least you didn't Ariana Grande those donuts. Oh, I know. I didn't talk about fat Americans. I didn't do that. What else did she do to the donuts? Did she lick? She didn't lick the donuts. She just talked about fat Americans. I think she went, ugh. Americans are so fat or something. I don't know. It wasn't really much of a donut gate. Wizzo scared me and he was always saying, doody doody doo. Yeah, doody doody doody. He was like, that's the last thing some kids ever saw was Wizzo up in their face going, doody 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 doo. Yeah, he was like a hobo clown, one of those they got like a straight razor in their boot. They pull it out, straight razor in the boot. I remember once Joe Biden took down a guy with a rusty straight razor. He said, I'm going to wrap a chain around your head. Joe Biden, you don't mess with Joe at the pool, at the community pool. He's got a chain. He's going to hit you. He's going to hit Corn Pop. Thanks, man. Yeah, both cookie number 1 and cookie number 3 was mysteriously replaced. Well, I didn't know Cookie had replacements. Cookie seemed like, is this going to be bad if I say it? I think it's going to be bad if I say it. I don't know if I should say this. I'm going to say it. Cookie seemed like the woman in the relationship. Cookie did. Something about Cookie. But ODing, I would not expect Cookie to do that. Cookie got baked. Oh, yeah, I make myself laugh. Yeah, she licked the donuts. Did she? She did lick the donuts? Wizzo was Marshall Brody and the Magician. And he was reduced to duty. People have always asked if I was a stabbing or a singing hobo. I usually respond with, do you see a guitar? Yeah, those hobos, man. Those are bad. Those were bad people. They were rough hobos. I bet Suntup's glad they released that book before the article. Holy shit, you aren't kidding. If that article had come out, because before it came out, everybody was talking, including me, was like, look, this sounds like we don't have details. We just have this sort of veneer of breaking the law, and these are non-disclosure agreements. These people signed them. They agreed to the terms. It sounds like this is water under the bridge. It sounds like it's a personal squabble. I don't really care. Then you get the details. And when you get an examination of behavior and you look at your life and you look at your decisions and you're like, there is no universe where I end up acting like this guy and I can't understand the predatory nature of someone like that. When you go that route and you inevitably compare that to yourself, it becomes a lot different than just law and this cold logic of legal limits. It becomes very like, how do you lead somebody, coerce somebody, even if they pretend to go along with you, even if they feel, but they obviously feel pressure, they feel undue influence to go the way you're directing them. That becomes like a self-betrayal. And that's in a lot of ways harder to live with. So it's really, really ugly and awful. And I feel bad for all Neil Gaiman fans. I do. But I feel worse for all the people involved. Yeah, she licked the donuts. So what else do we have to talk about? Happy Monday the 13th. That's how I was supposed to start the show. I wrote it. Happy Monday the 13th. We're an hour and 16 minutes into the show, and I opened it. So now the show can go on. Speaking of Grady Hendrix, do any of you give a shit about this book? Oh, wait. I know one person does give a shit. One person who's watching actually this eve. We have Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, signed edition, hardback from Waterstones. It is 22 pounds. I don't know how much it weighs. And then they do what these Brits do. It's going to be published in 3 days, but they start with the day, then they go to the month, and then they go to the year, which makes sense. If you want to start immediate, then go further out, and then go even further out, fine. It follows the logic. But we in America say, kiss my ass with your logic, and we go month, day, year. Just to be contrarian. What month is it? I want to know that first. Oh, January? Thank you. Now, what day in January? And then the year is sort of like, okay, yeah, the year. I almost don't even need that. But I don't know if you guys want it. Hardback, it's available. Signed limited edition, signed edition with sprayed edges. You want to spray those edges. Spray them real good. Spray them all over. That's it. So that's what you get. I don't know. Who's up for it? I received my best of weird today from Centipede Press. Gorgeous. Yeah. It's Centipede Press. Saying Centipede Press and gorgeous is sort of a redundancy. Nope. Nothing by Hendrix for me. I thought it was you. Who was it that was Hendrix? Somebody. Can't wait for a few titles I have from CP coming soon. They just can't do wrong by me. And he tried. Jared told me, Jeff, what can I do to piss off Kevin? I said, nothing, man. Nothing. Kevin is your ride or die, Jared. He's with you to the end. You can do no wrong. And he said, hold my rapture. I'll just wait until SST forces me to keep my Hendrix number. You still have those? You were trying to sell them, Stephen Dwayne Allison Jr. Yeah, people who use that date format at my job are the worst human beings ever. Just want to, just punch that bloke. No, I sold every Hendrix I owned, even all the SSTs with the ARCs. You probably sold them for like $300. Are you sure that wasn't Bill from Sub that you talked to about making me mad? It could have been. He really doesn't want anybody to be happy. He's not here to make anybody happy. I like Hendrix, but I sold all my SST copies. All right, well then I showed that for nobody. Nobody cares about that Waterstones edition, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. 22 pounds. I got to say, I was tempted to buy it because I'm stupid. I have all these Grady Hendrix books. I read one. And I'm going to be just like Mike, just like Stephen Dwayne Allison Jr., looking as dumb, just like Mitch. Got Best of Weird Tales today. Also, have not had a chance to really open it, but the slipcase is going to look great when we have a full set. Yep, full set available, by the way. So he's looking to move some great. Why are my ears so red? Oh, it's a disaster being me. Really is. And I'm really going to try to see how crazy that big thing on my neck. Oh, this is horrible. I really do want to see how insane this beard can get. I'm going with short hair, long beard vibe. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm Jeff. What are you going to do? So we talked about that. We talked about modern classics. We talked about Come With Me. You're going to have to get that next Monday. I'm going to have to get that next Monday. Ronald Malfi's goddamn awesome. But yeah, I think there are a few authors I would love to see with the modern classics. I think Keelan Patrick Burke, Chad Lutsky would be awesome. Chad's got 2 books. I saw he posted it somewhere. He's got 2 books that are sitting there. God, my heart breaks for Chad. That's not cool. That is not cool. That is not cool. The world doesn't work for everyone. Manos, he's doing the other decades? Oh, yeah, I understand there will be a volume a decade up to 1950. Nice. Hey, what's up, Swap P? What are 3 books someone starting their official collection should have or get? Well, it all depends on who you want to read and what your budget is. Those are 2 huge considerations. If you're starting your collection, if I was starting my collection, I would just start with the next limited edition published by an author I like. That's where I would start. What started me was It from Cemetery Dance. I found out, I woke up one day and I realized there were all these limited editions from Stephen King. No, actually, my first limited was Grant Books. They weren't limited. They were the Grant Books trade editions. But even the trade editions were pretty limited by Stephen King standards. And I was collecting those books before, well, I was interested in collecting those books before the Plume editions came out. So what I would say is subscribe to newsletters, Earthling, Levidian, Centipede Press, Suntup, SST, and Curious King. Subscribe to the newsletters. And the next time they serve up an author that you like, buy it. And then you will be off to the races. If you're going secondary market, you could get some values. You know what? Here's what you could do. You could start your collecting off with a Grady Hendrix set, a full matching set from Stephen Dwayne Allison Jr. So yeah, it's very, starting your collection is a very personal decision. and it's a budgetary thing. If budget's not an issue, subscribe to Suntup's newsletter. If budget's not an issue and you love Malfi, get Earthlings. Come with me next week. Get that. It's just impossible. For me, if I was starting collecting and I knew Butcher Boy was out there, I would buy that. And you can get that at a great price. But that's me because that book is so important to me. I would start looking for those books that meant something to you, that had high value, that touched you in some way. And then I would look that book up. Here's what I would do. I'd go to eBay. I'd enter the title of that book with the author and search it and see what editions pop up. And then you'd see what had been published, perhaps. You can adjust by price, highest, probably will get you to a special edition. And I would start there. I'd start to see if any of the special books to me had already been published. Because there's no bigger waste of time and money than to collect books that mean nothing to you. And I say that from experience. There are books that mean something to me for different reasons. Like I love the author, but I don't really care for that book. Or I love the publisher and I want to support the publisher and I had the money to do so. So there are different reasons to get the book and that means something to you outside of the primary story. But that's where I would start if I was starting. And I hope what you like is obscure enough that you find a limited edition of it for a reasonable price. But again, then the plan B, if you don't turn up anything special on a book you love on eBay or Abe's Books, that's another one, or Camelot Books, you can go there. They have a lot of great stuff. Then the plan B was subscribe to the newsletters and wait for something that speaks to you, and then snap it up. And again, I have 6. Earthling, SST, those are the most cost effective. Suntup and Curious King are the most expensive. Levidian's between the two extremes. And Centipede, Jared's an animal all his own. His prices fluctuate wildly, but you get what you pay for. Like, you always get more than you pay for, but obviously a $600 Centipede Press title is going to have a lot more to it than a $90 one. That's my spiel on that. I don't know if that resonates with anybody else. I can't wait for Clean Face Jeff. Ain't going to happen. Oh, man, I saw that. I hope they breaks those out. Thunderstorm. What? I saw that. I hope he breaks those out. I don't know what you're talking about, but 3 new releases. Avoid the secondary until you get your feet under you. That's basically, yes, 3 new releases. Go with something new. Don't go to the secondary right away. That's kind of where I started. But then I thought, well, if you're going after a special book and you have the money, then maybe that's where you should start. Signed and scribed books from Tyler Jones should start a collection. That's true. That is true. Serafina by Philip Fracassi. Well, I think they're sold out, Stephen Dwayne Ellis. They're gone. Start your collection with the new Malfi. Night of the Long Knives. There you go, by Tyler Jones. Yeah, that's from Earthling. Thank you. Just scored a copy of Dune from Centipede at almost the price they originally. Well, you're going big. Like, that's not starting. You're going right for the big trophy. So you're somebody that budget doesn't matter, Dan, or budget is you've got a generous budget. If you can get a $600 book to start with, yeah. I mean, if money's no object, I would go for It by Cemetery Dance. I really love that book. It's a $1,200 book now. I would get the Modern Classics next week by Malfi. That's probably going to sell out. It all depends on what you want and who you like to read. Yeah, I learned early, only buy what you want and will only mean something to you, not what everyone else is, shouting about. Bet you could pick up some Gaimans from pennies on the dollar. Yeah, that's sad. Buy all the Gaiman books you can get your hands on. That's funny. See, somebody they're zooming in on comedy now. If you're starting out collecting, just buy Rapture Publishing books. Yes, and that reminds me, Mitch, I got to square up with you on that lettered bundle. Next is trying to find the next two from Centipede, but that looks out of my price range on the secondary. That's tough. That is tough. Dune Messiah and whatever the other one. I don't know. Those should be cheaper if you were able to get Dune. Oh, from Centipede. Okay. Well, wait, you got Dune from Earthling, right? Oh, Dune from Centipede. Duh. Wow. Yeah. I knew it. So yeah, you should be able to get those two cheaper than Dune, right? Yo, Sean's here. I'm glad you're here. I'm about to wrap up though. It's after my bedtime. In between faults at work. I'm glad you're working. Hope he breaks the 2 books he has completed laying in the drawer. Yes. By Chad Lutsky. Yes. I hope he does. He can't go away. Was it numbered or publisher's copy? Either way, you got a great price. Yeah. Centipede Press Dune. I have one up there. It's unsigned. But it was $600. I mean, that's a lot. And I think you should be able to get the other 2 for cheaper. I got lucky, bought a signed for $700, but the cheapest copy of Messiah and Children of Dune are both over $975. That doesn't make any sense to me. A lot of people bought Dune and stopped. Damn. Well, if you're a fan of Dune, you can't go wrong with getting those. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, it's Suntop week. Speaking of which, yeah, Suave P. It's Suntop week. So this Thursday, there will be a new Suntop title released. And I do not remember what the consensus was for this release. I don't know what the titles are. I did not reach out to Paul I felt like that was a waste of his time and mine because I cannot get these interviews done. I just can't work them into my schedule. So I felt bad for asking him last time and then just not going anywhere with it. And it feels like he deserves better than that from me. And I also don't want him to think I'm not interested in doing that anymore. It's a tough spot to be in right now. Hopefully I'm not in this spot for much longer and I can get my feet under me with the new rhythm of the job and all that. So we're going to work on that. Team Jeff is going to work on that. But so I don't remember what the first book's going to be. Jeff, please make Mitch whole before he sends me to collect. That's how he is forcing me to pay off my debt. So you're like his Rocky. You're like his Rocky. I get it. I understand. I will, Stephen Dwayne Elson. I will do it. When is Stinger SST going on sale? I don't know. Did it go on sale yet? I don't remember. I know I bought it. So I must have only gotten pre-orders. Did you search the site, Jesse? Search the site. You start to say things like that after you have a whole White Russian, especially the size that I poured for myself. I mean, if you're going to drive 12 hours, you need a lot of gas in the tank. If you're going to go 90 minutes, which I already have, SST Stinger. Yeah, you didn't know about it? Probably Matheson's Born of Man and Woman. Yeah. Short story collection from Suntop. Yeah, that's the first book was a title he published previously, but not the book. So everybody's like, oh, he published Born of Man and Woman as a standalone story in that beautiful edition, but he didn't do the whole collection. So everybody's thinking that's the one that's coming on Thursday. So if you're a Richard Matheson fan, do your collection, start yours there. Yeah, SST Stinger. You didn't know about that, Mike? You knew about that. You had to know. What's up, Poe? Poe came by. He's like, it's after your time. Okay. It's after my time. And then Levidian has Prayer for the Dying. I don't know who's jazzed about that. Who thinks that's worth getting? Let me just say this. It's a Levidian title. Can we see Poe? Hey, Poe. Come here, Poe. Come here. Come over here. Come here, Poe. Want to see? You got fans. Oh, I'm going to break my door. Poe, come here. Come here. Come here, buddy. Oh, he doesn't trust me. What's up? What's up, Poe? You're the baby. Okay, baby. Whoa. Okay. Here's the baby. Here's the baby. Oh. He's a baby. You're the baby. You're the baby. So that's Poe. Oh. What? He wants me to throw the ball now. See what you guys did? Now I got to throw him the ball. What's up, buddy? You want to come up and say hi? Come here. Come here. Come by daddy. Okay. He doesn't know what to do. He's like, where's the ball? Where's the ball? All right. Now I got to go. Now I got to play with the dog. So that's my baby. Modern classics by who? Earthling. Oh, yes. I missed a great opportunity. Get this book right now from Earthling. This is Little Heaven by Nick Cutter. I'm reading it right now. Wonderful publication by Earthling. Really awesome. Again, you gotta subscribe to Earthling and those other publishers I talked about. But yeah, you got to get this. Modern Classics. Next week is going to be Come With Me. But this is still available. I had this filed away in my brain that it's already out. It's gone. It's sold. It's still available. Little Heaven. It won't be available for too much longer, I don't imagine. Artwork by Glenn Chadbourne. Signed. Look at those end sheets. Signed by Glenn Chadbourne and Nick Cutter. And yeah, there you go. Look at that. You know, this illustration reminds me of no, I would get this right now. And then I would get, and here's the thing, Suave. You can go to Earthling and get a bundle for less than you paid for that Dune of the two Modern Classics books. You get Little Heaven and then Come With Me next Monday. That goes up. That's what I would do. Oh. See, you got to know, if I'm going to be your book collecting advisor, I got to know what motivates you, what appeals to you, what speaks to you, and what your budget is. Those are all the things. But if you're looking for the next big, beautiful thing, I think Earthling has it right now. So, Earthling Publications. I can show you their website. You want me to show you their? I'll show you their website right now. Where we at? Boom. Here it is. Move that out of the way. Modern Classics, so Earthling Publications, the Modern Classics series, Little Heaven. Oh, you can't do the bundle anymore. Well, it's done. I don't know. I would email Paul, see if the bundle, but I don't think the bundle's available. You can order this, order a copy. It's $250, and then next week it'll be Come With Me. I have Inspection, man. That's a gorgeous. That is also a gorgeous book. It's sold out. You can join the wait list for a lettered. I don't know about those. I never collect Earthling lettereds because I just don't have the money. But Little Heaven, this is what I would do. Boom. There you go. Look at that. Dudes. It is great. It is great. Oh, Robert McCammon praised it. A gripping and terrifying story delivered by a very talented writer. Nick Cutter's Little Heaven is an intense experience and one not to be missed. That was Robert McCammon, ladies and gentlemen. 235 numbered. So anyway, that's what I would get. Boom. Stop sharing. Okay. So night all. Take it easy. Poe is magic. Yes, he is. Thank you. That speaks to me. The first was Inspection by Josh Mallerman, and recently he released Little Heaven. Yes. Starting the Devils by Abercrombie. Loved his first loss. I got to read that. I got to read it. Excited about the new Abercrombie as well. Night all. Have a great week. Take it easy. I caved and got one coming as well. Abercrombie. That Earthling Little Heaven is an awesome addition. It is. Good night and see everyone next week. Take it easy. Jesse, take it easy. Wait till you can add more when you press order. Are there more there you would recommend? Wait, you can add more when you... Oh, okay. Well, if we're going to talk about real quick, Earthling, I would go to home. I would go to books. Yes. Here's what I would order. I would order Night of the Long Knives. I've read that book. I read an advanced review copy. It is awesome. I love it. It is 500 numbered copies. It's only $65. It is tremendous. I love that book. So I have that coming. And for me, I'm surprised it's not sold out, but Altman's Tongue, I thought that was sold out. Yeah, that one's sold out. But I would get Little Heaven and Night of the Long Knives for sure. Currently available. Dune's available? Those are two I would get. Family was a good 3-star read. Oh, They Say a Girl Died Here Once. I would get that for sure. I absolutely love that book. There's a lot here. The only reason I'm hesitating is because I haven't read all of these. So I would say you can buy with confidence out of here. But the ones I can definitely vouch for. I own Little Heaven. It is gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful production. I read the prologue and it was cool. Very cool, open. I'm hooked already. I would get Night of the Long Knives because that is an excellent book. I read the whole thing, loved it. Can't speak too well of it. I would get Come With Me. I have Altman's Tongue coming. I don't know anything about it other than it was highly recommended. But then Come With Me is another one I would get. I did read Family. It was a good 3-star read, so that is a lot of fun. I don't know what your budget is, but I think you could get Bloodstained Neverland, but then you're going to need the first 2 books in that series. Bloodstained Oz and Bloodstained Wonderland. Spirit of Place, I have the Ark. I have not read it yet. These are all my failings. So anyway, you gotta get these. You can't go wrong with the ones I've told you to get. If you're Jeff, of course. So good night, everyone. I will be shutting this down. The Sarah Pinborough was a very good one. I love that one. Get Night of Long Knives for sure. Spirit of Place is just okay. My least favorite book from Earthling. Okay, sorry to hear that. But anyway, those are that. That's this. Stephen Dwayne Allison Jr. won the comment of the evening, and he takes that on. He could put that honor on his LinkedIn profile, and it'll get him a job somewhere, I'm sure. And thank you for joining me this time. Hope to see you all again next week, where we will talk about books. Yeah, it should have felt anticlimactic. And I'll see you all then. And I hope you have a good night. And I'm going to end the stream now. And I'm going to say I'm going to do it. And I'm going to click it. And then I'm going to click it again because YouTube wants me to be sure. So, yes.